Okay, hi everybody. Thank you all, like he said, for sticking around to the top of the, what did you say, the ninth inning? I don't know my baseball terms. I know it's been a long day and y'all got a lot of information, and now you're going to hear something about digital equity in another state right next door to y'all, Georgia. So my name is Takiyah Thomas. I'm the Digital Equity Administrator for the Clayton County Board of Commissioners. I work through the IT department, and my division is called the Office of Digital Equity. Um, Let me just ask y'all a few questions first, and I know everybody's going to raise their hand on this. Who has internet in their home? Who does not? Who uses a cell phone hotspot for internet? That's actually a thing. Some people do that and they don't have access in their home. How about a computer or a laptop in your home? So this is a pretty equitable crowd of people that we have here. Would you believe that it's a lot of people in this country that would not be able to raise their hand on that? They either don't have the access in the home, they don't have the device at home, they might have to go to the library to use the internet or to use a computer or to use a printer, those types of things. So that's what we're going to talk about, and why I'm nervous. Can y'all tell? You hear? Well, I met a friend last night at the reception, and she told me that if I put my hands on the podium, it would absorb all of the nervous energy. So I'm gonna see if it works. Does anybody else do that trick? And I said, he told me he was gonna be an evangelist for me and amen me today, so that's gonna calm me down a little bit. And I got a nice special friend that just came in. I did not know that she was coming. She also does digital equity work here in Tennessee, so maybe you all can chit chat with her before we leave today. So let's talk a little bit about Clayton County. You may have seen it in the flyer that you all have. Clayton County is the third smallest county in Georgia. We have 159 counties. With it being the third smallest, is also the fifth most populous county. So it's very dense with people, and with a lot of people comes a lot of inequities, as we all probably know. So Clayton County has a high low-income household number. We are nearly fully served when it comes to having access to the internet. That means the fiber is in the ground, but people don't have it for it. Maybe they don't have the financial resources to pay for it, or maybe the plan that's in their area, it might be there, but it's too high for them. So we have a lot of that, and I'll show you that on a map a few slides down. And then also in my county, in Clayton County, 20% of our residents, according to the 2020 census, just flat out don't pay for internet. They might use their hotspot on their cell phone, or they might go to the library to use the internet. So we created an office where we plan to close the digital divide, one household, that's our motto, one household at a time. So let's get into these slides. And I'm gonna try not to take up the whole 20 minutes, y'all. So this is what NDIA, which is the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, this is how they define digital equity. So digital equity, and I'll just read this one. I won't read the rest of the slides, but y'all get to hear me read on this one. It's a condition in which all individuals and communities have the information technology capacity needed for full participation in our society, democracy, and economy. Digital equity is necessary. It is necessary for civic and cultural participation, employment, lifelong learning, and access to essential services. Why did we need a digital equity or digital equity strategic plan? Like we just said in the definition, we need to have equal access to all of the things that help us participate in the economy and in the world in general. So it's the gap between those that have it and those that don't have it. So we're trying to close that gap and make it smaller. But of course, technology is evolving constantly. Every time you turn around, there's some new technology. So we don't stay on top of keeping the gap narrow. It's just gonna get bigger and bigger as each day goes by. We got AI now. Who's afraid of AI like me? Okay, we got a few people afraid of AI. But I'm learning that, I gotta grasp this new technology, or like I tell my residents, if you don't learn, you're gonna get left behind, and I don't wanna get left behind. So as it evolves, we gotta work to keep that gap a little smaller. Now, I'm trying to cheat and look at my notes on here, y'all, so just work with me. Now, this last bullet point is another reason why we need to have this plan. In 2020, that was the median household income in America. Clayton County was 30% less. So we got 300,000 people, and a whole bunch of them are below the federal poverty level line. So we got to keep the equity in Clayton County. Now, how does this impact the community? This is not really specific to Clayton County, just anywhere. If it's not digital equity, you got citizens that are gonna have to pay more in a store as opposed to online. At lunch, we were talking about, the gentleman left that said it, but he said that he will be in the store and he will get on his phone and check Amazon and see if it's cheaper. So when you can shop online and get it cheaper, that's a disadvantage if you don't have access to the internet or you don't know how to use it. So another thing is students having to travel to do web-based homework. We learned that from the pandemic. A bunch of children were stuck at home, not able to do their schoolwork because they didn't have internet access. Job seekers missing out on applying for employment. Think of the jobs that you could have if you didn't have to go to the office. So it's opportunities that you're missing out on because you don't have access to the internet, and work from home opportunities. Citizens missing out on events advertised online, and we experience this a lot in our initiative because we push out a lot of information. We have a lot of older citizens who maybe don't get on the computer as much. So because they either don't have the computer or the access, they miss out on things that might really be important. And they hear about some things like community service type functions. And when they'll hear about it later, nobody never told us. We didn't know. I could have applied. So, they missed out on these opportunities because they didn't have the access. And then I thought I would be a little cute on that last bullet point. Hello, smart homes. How can you have a smart home with no internet? So your Ring doorbell can't monitor you. The cameras outside can't because it's web-based. Alexa. I don't have Alexa. I think that's a little too invasive, but you can't have Alexa without Wi-Fi, right? So those are some things that are some impacts, rather, for not having digital equity. Now, what Clayton County specifically, what causes a digital divide? Just wanted to break down a few of those. The first one being broadband access gaps, and that could be for affordability, accessibility, or just plain availability. Like we mentioned, we have a lot of low-income households, and they're less likely to subscribe to home internet. Dissatisfaction with reliability and connection speed. So we have a lot of residents that have internet, but they have like the 25/3 internet, 25 download, 3 megabits upload. That's too slow. If you're just logging in to look up a dictionary word on the internet, that's fine. But if you're watching a video, or if you're using a computer and somebody else is using it and the child is playing a video game and the Ring doorbell is using the signal, you need a little more power in your Wi-Fi. And then the county is mostly served but lacks competition. So I'll show you some maps for that. And that is an access gap because we are mostly served. I don't know if I can say the names, but it starts with a C. But Clayton County is mostly served by them. And then the next one that starts with an A, our number 2, and then it goes down. You'll see the map later. You'll see the names. Device utilization gaps is the second reason that the divide is present in Clayton County. Only 3 in 10 low-income households own a laptop. And you would think in 2024 that everybody has a laptop. You would be surprised. We do laptop giveaways, and they show up because they don't have laptops, and they can't afford to buy one. And they're mostly refurbished devices, but they appreciate just being able to have the device in the home. And we shouldn't have to do that in the times that we're living in. Everyone should be able to afford to have a laptop and be able to pay for internet service without, any issue. And then the second one is troubleshooting skills and ability to maintain the device. I know a lot of older people, when it breaks, they just throw it away, or they put it in a pile with all of the other broken devices. But and sometimes it's a simple troubleshooting thing. We had one resident who, she thought that her laptop had got hacked, and it was something simple as changing the default web address that your internet opens up to. So she thought, like, I can't push the button, so she shut it down, and it told her to call this number, and it told her not to turn it off, but so she panicked, and she called us, and it was a simple fix. But she could have thrown that laptop away because she thought it was, infected with a virus. So that's a second device utilization gap that we experience in Clayton County. And then the third being skills gaps. 15%, and I forgot to mention, back in 2022, we did a phone survey through our consulting firm that drafted our digital equity plan for us. They surveyed 1,800 people, and the last slide that we were on, do I press the red button? There we go. This is based on those 1,800 people, the numbers that you might see, 3 and 1. So it was 3 and 10 of the 1,800. And of those 1,800, 15% they don't recognize internet and email scams. And that's what they said in the phone interview. So they get hacked a lot because they just don't know. You might have gotten a text message. I know personally I got a message on Facebook from a person that I had not communicated with probably in 10 years, or however old Facebook is. It's been that long. And the person said that someone that we know might have died, and click on this link to see who it is. Well, I work in IT, so you got to get up real early in the morning to pull one over on me. So my first thought was, okay, I haven't communicated with this person in so long, and we don't have any mutual friends, so who could this possibly be? So I sent him another message, another way, and told him, I think your Facebook page has been hacked. You might want to change your password. So a lot of people don't recognize it, and they click on the link. And there you go. Now they're a victim. Now this is kind of sidebar. Has anyone seen that new movie, Thelma? I think it's still in the theaters now. No, nobody's seen Thelma? She's like a 93-year-old lady. She gets a phone call from her grandson. He just got hit by a car, and the woman was pregnant, and they arrested him. And come and get me out of jail. And she's 92, and the actress is like actually a 92-year-old woman. That's what makes it really nice. And what's Shaft's name? Richard Roundtree. Richard Roundtree is her sidekick in the movie. And it was his last movie before he died, because some of you may know that he died recently. So anyway, the whole movie is about their escapade of finding the hacker, and she wrote down the address where she mailed the money, and she found the paper, and she got on a scooter that goes like 45 miles per hour to go across the city. They had to stop and charge it. Long story short, she made it. Well, y'all might not want to see it now because I'm spoiling it, huh? Oh. Okay, I'll stop there, but it's a perfect cybersecurity movie that I think everybody should go watch, and it could just happen to anybody. Did I cover the last one? Oh, okay, the second one. Low-income households less likely to be skilled in various uses of the internet, such as connecting them. So if you don't use it, you don't know how to, get these resources. So that's a gap. And then 30% of the 1,800 were interested in having free or low-cost training. And we do a lot of training in our program. So we told you what the 3 main reasons for us doing a digital equity plan. This is the things that we have actually done in the past 2 years. Our office, by the way, is 2 years old as of July 1st. So happy anniversary to us. But we have hosted in the last 2 years 56 ACP sign-up events. Does everyone know what ACP is? I know you know. It's the Affordable Connectivity Program. It was a federal subsidy that started, I think, like April 2021, something like that, and it ended February 7th of this year. And it provided low-income households a $30 discount on their home internet. So they didn't get the money themselves, it just went straight to whoever their provider was. So that went away, so that means that it's a bunch of people, 23 million people, as a matter of fact, were a part of that program. By it going away, they now are gonna have to decide if they're gonna buy groceries or pay for the internet. And they're gonna buy groceries. So the internet is, it's out the door. And what we are doing, we haven't done this yet, but we're working on an RFP to expand our county network to make it a little more competitive for residents. For the device gaps part, we distributed 450 free refurbished devices via our nonprofit partnerships. So that's been like an amazing thing for the county. And skills gaps, we do training all day, every day. We've done 145 as of today, free digital skills training on those topics that you see there. The navigating technology is the most popular one that we have. And I just noticed I didn't put Microsoft Word and Excel on there, but we also train residents for free on those. And we're even up to Microsoft Excel too. So, you know, we got heavy hitters in Clayton County. They can use Excel. And then the new courses that we're gonna be offering, we're gonna teach ChatGPT. I'll be the first student. Python, HTML, and we're gonna work on some workforce development initiatives with IT certifications. And this is just a little quick snapshot to show you what our digital scene looks like in Clayton County. The first one is all of those households have one or more providers available to them. And that, you know, that's okay. They can't all afford them though. And then the next one is the underserved, or I think that's actually considered unserved. If it's below 25 megabits per second download and 3 megabits upload, is considered unserved by the federal government. Then AT&T, they have a nice presence in Clayton County. Comcast is top dog. That's the one that started with a C, but I forgot I put it on here, so I could have said it earlier. So Comcast is our main carrier. T-Mobile, they do fixed wireless in the county, which isn't always the most reliable, because if you get a nice, strong storm, you know, it's based on the cell phone signals, so it's not as reliable. And then we have Google with a few accounts in Clayton County. Charter, cable, broadband, a few over on the east side. And then Verizon has, you know, a small presence in Clayton County with fixed wireless also. So just some things of what we did. And I'd like to take this moment. Oh, I just noticed the timer on the floor. I got 2 minutes and 45 seconds. To advocate for municipalities to have a dedicated Office of Digital Equity. Some counties may not need it as much as other counties, but counties like Clayton County needs to have it. So if you have a high ratio of low-income residents in your county, you need to have an Office of Digital Equity to advocate for them, because if you don't, who will? So some things that we did, we procured the services of a consulting firm called CTC, and they developed our digital equity strategic plan. It was funded by ARPA. We did a broadband feasibility study, and it identified gaps in the broadband availability in the county. And then we are currently, this is kind of like a pending bullet point, developed a fiber optic network design that could be used to take advantage of existing infrastructure. We're kind of finding out that we don't have as much capacity as we thought we did to extend the network, but that's something that is on our plate. And we are currently identifying ways to increase affordable access to high speed. And sometimes that means like having uncomfortable conversations with the providers. I love to see them at conferences, so I can go hem them up in the corner. Establishing a countywide digital equity coalition. We don't have a formal coalition yet, but we have a lot of stakeholders that we work with on a regular basis. And then we're going to be working on a scorecard so we can keep track of availability, of the affordable services that's offered, and any digital literacy initiatives. And then, of course, we'll be applying for the upcoming state and federal funding, which some of you may know it as BEAD, and some competitive grants that are going to be released. And we're going to use that funding to support our workforce development and device ecosystem projects. 44 seconds. So that was it. So I was nervous, but I got through it. Okay.